Question number 4, it says work out the gradient of the line joining these pairs of points. Gradient. Gradient, the word gradient is a very, very important word. Okay. Let's take a little recall. Midpoint. The midpoint gives you the point that is in the middle of the line. The length giving you how long the line is. But the gradient now gradient provides the rate, is a rate, all right, with which the y variable varies with respect to 1 unit variation of the x variable. So for example, a gradient of, let's say, 8. Let's put example 1. Let's say a gradient of 8. All right, you can put m is equal to 8. So because m now is the international letter for gradient. A gradient of m is equal to 8 means that m is equal to eight over 1. Okay, because to make a whole number look like a fraction, you just put a 1 under it. So any number you see, there's an invisible 1 under it. That's negative 3 over 1. That's 4 over 1. That's 7 over 1. Any number you see, that's 8 over 1. 8 over 1. And why the 1 is because of that 1 in the definition of gradient. And that 1 there belongs to the x. So a gradient of 8 of m is equal to 8 means that m is equal to 8 over 1. So therefore, whenever, and it's always a positive 1, eh? Let me just highlight that. Highlight this, a positive 1. Just any one, a positive 1. Always positive 1. Very important. Therefore, whenever x varies by positive 1, whenever x varies by positive 1, y varies it. That's what the gradient of it means. Likewise, if you have a gradient of negative 37, a gradient of negative 47. What a negative gradient of negative 47 means? It means that m is equal to negative 37 over a positive 1, always a positive 1. Therefore, whenever x varies by positive 1, y varies by negative 37. That's what a gradient of negative 47 means. Okay. Now, in the module 7, the formula for gradients, there it is. You normally call it rise over run. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Here you have a lot of explanations, and here you have the examples. And the letter m denotes its symbol. So here's the formula we're going to use. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we need that same format. What do I mean by same format? Here it is. We have to label the coordinates of the points. Let's come back up there. And just make a copy of this pair of points. Here they are. And here's the formula. There's the equation. We have to label the coordinates. So negative 3 will become x1. 4 will become y1. All right. 7 will become x2. So 7 is x2. And y2 is negative 6. So you can see the association. And I'll bring this right on top of it. Yeah. See it? Okay. So now, here's the formula. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the formula itself comes with a negative sign. Here it is. That's the general format of the formula. Here it is. It comes with a negative sign. We have to put a number there. Okay. We have to put a number there. We have to put a number there, and we have to put a number there. Okay. What number do we put there? What is the first number we put there? Y2. Y2. Y2 is -6. -6. All right. The formula comes with a negative sign. So Y2 is -6. Subtract Y1. Where's Y1? Y1 is 4 over X2. X2 is 7 minus X1. X1 is -3. That's X1. Very calmly do this, eh? Very carefully. Now, what we're going to have now, remember we said this is -6 and -4. This is a 7 and a -3. A -6 and a -4, -10. A negative and a negative is a positive. And this is 7, -3. This is 7 plus 3. This is a 7 and a 3. A 7 and a 3 is 10. All right, that's 7 plus 3. 7 plus 3 is 10. So we have a -10 over a 10. -10 over 10. What is -10 over 10? -10 over 10 is actually -1 over 1. Right? -10 over 10 is -1 over 1. Okay, I can even put the negative sign by the -1. And the reason why I am putting the answer like that, we all know the answer is equal to -1, you know. All right. But the reason why I am highlighting this representation is for the definition. Therefore, the definition, let's go up there. You remember the definition, let's go up to it. Let's copy and paste, right? Always try to, although the question did not say to interpret, always try to interpret your gradient. That's very, very common practice for the future. All right. Therefore, all right, we have a gradient of -1. A gradient of -1, you know what that means? It means -1 over 1. Here it is. And you know what -1 over 1 means? -1 over 1, it means, therefore, whenever the x varies by +1, the y varies by -1. Okay. So always try to interpret your gradient, even though the question does not say so. All right. So that's how you calculate gradient, and that's how you interpret it. Rise over run. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Rate of change of y with respect to x. 1 unit change of X.